Hello everybody, Jordan here, and today we have another giant aircraft for you guys, and it's been a while since we last showcased any of these, but today, as you can see right here, we have the large-scale Boeing 767-300ER. I bet you're kind of wondering now, what about the 400, what about the 200? The 400 has actually already been made, but that'll come in a later video since we're still working out the liveries now. So yeah, this project is it's been done for a couple of weeks. It's just we never did anything with it, and I said, you know, we finally need to make the video for this, so let's do it. So first off, we have the Delta current livery from, I believe, 2007 up, and from 2007 and beyond. So yeah, this is based off, you know, personal experience and everything with these aircraft. But anyway, so this is the aircraft with the CF6 engines. As Delta, they operate both the Pratts and the General Electrics. So yeah. Yeah, but let's start with the tour on the exterior. As you can see, it's big, but yeah. So we can start with the gear down here, the nose gear. The 767 has, you know, the nose gear here, but they also have two lights on the gear. Those are pretty bright, so that's what we have. Here's the gear hold. Here's the little door. They have Delta, at least with them. They have a little text, and then there's a little red stripe on it right there. We can continue back down the line. Continue down with the aircraft. We have the rear landing gear, and believe it or not, we actually updated our large-scale 757s, but you haven't seen that yet, and these are the landing gear from it, so that's why they look like that. You have the gear door, which we made pretty dirty since, you know, the aircraft's kind of old, so yeah. You have your gear supports, the gear with, you know, shock absorbers and all that, but yeah. So here's the actual engine, the General Electric CF6. We can go inside the engine. So here's the fan blades, you know, that spin, and here's the interior of the engine, where air is compressed, you know, ignited and everything else. So that's the engine right there. You have the pylon for the engine, which is slightly different per engine variant, but yeah. We can go down here, this little gray stuff, that's the slats. The 767s have this little gray outlining inside of the wing, which we mimicked. And the insanely tall winglets with the 767. I believe these are 14 feet tall. Don't quote me on that, I could be wrong, but the stupidly tall winglets with the 767. And as you can see over here, we have the flap track fairings, which they're kind of thin with the 767, but, you know, still looking stellar right there. So yeah, we can keep going back. You see the wing box right here, which isn't too extruding, but, you know, a wing box, So here's the tail. You have the registration, November 1-8. I believe that's November 189. Yeah, Delta November. Could be wrong, who knows. But yeah, you have the American flag. The horizontal and vertical stabilizer right here. We made this slope down to simulate, you know, the stabilizer trim for the aircraft. And on the tail, we have the Delta widget, and they have a little text on top of it too. And back here, we have the APU. And do we have an APU engine? Do we do? Nope, we don't. Sometimes we put engines inside of them, sometimes we don't. We didn't do it this way. So yeah. We also have the anti-tail skid on the tail of the plane right here, because we can't be scraping up this tail. That gets expensive. So yeah. And also, you might be wondering on the doors, why is this door not very detailed on the exterior? Well, the 767 doors, they slide up. They don't go out, so that's the thing for it. But here's the Delta text right here with the widget and everything. And we also have the SkyTeam logo for boarding aircraft with pitot tubes on the outside and the rest of the nose. Here's the radome. Right here, we have a little outline for it. And a little more important thing to point is the nose is not one block anymore. It's, you know, it's wider as the real aircraft is, so yeah. But we can go inside the aircraft and start the tour on there. Oh, we also have some lights on top for beacon lights and all that. But yeah, we can go inside, take a tour on the interior. So whoa, what's going on? There we go. So on the interior, as you can see, you just board the aircraft. This is the L1 door, L2 is right there. And as you see from the design right here, there's this little lever right here, and the door slides up, which is pretty cool, honestly, but yeah. Here's a galley, another galley for the workstation. Here is the, here's the cockpit. So, as you see, it's very similar to the 757, almost identical. So, we can go through that. Here's the seats for the crew right there. You have your yoke right there. MCPs over here. I couldn't put a lot of detail into it, but I can't, but, you know, as much as I could do. You have the compass right there, and then you have the overhead panel. So, again, I couldn't place anything right here because that's slabs, but there's buttons there. So, here's the circuit breaker, and then here's just the overhead panel and all of that. So over down here, these are the FMCs. Here's just a little display. FMCs. This is the flap lever right here. Your throttle. And here's other stuff with your communications and all that other boring stuff. So we can go through the instrumentation. Right here shows your pitch and all that stuff. Now right here, this is where the little dials of the old steam gauges, I guess you could say, for the 767 are. It shows you your airspeed, altitude, and all that stuff. A lot of your backup instrumentation right here. And yeah, but I don't have enough room to put it, so just had to do that. Right here is the display for the engines right here. I made it yellow because a lot of the PFD display messages are yellow, at least from the Flight Factor 76. Yeah. Here's the landing gear hold, and then it's like identical over here. So as you see, we have some tracks for the seats so you can move it forward. You have your foot pedals with brakes down here, and all of that. And you also have some jump seats. Now I do believe the 767 has a bookshelf right here, but we just didn't add it, so yeah, sorry about that. So as we continue down, this is the Delta yeah, I cannot speak today. Wow. This is the Delta Airlines configuration. I'm not really sure what variant it is, but it's Delta. I believe this is used on the transatlantic routes, and also I think it's also used on the Pacific routes, because I've been on the 76 and it flew over to Seattle, and I'm guessing from Seattle went on somewhere, but but anyway, here's Delta 1. What they do is they alternate seats, so you know it's in, and out, and that's what it is. So these seats are in, that's out, and so forth. You know, it's a pretty nice seat for Delta. You know, you have your space, reading lights, and all that. You know, it's pretty comfortable. Your TV, and that. So you know, there's all of this for a couple of rows, and then there's just this little wall, and then you have these Delta Comfort Plus seats. Now, I bet you're wondering, why is this all red now, Jordan? You haven't seen this before. The new texture pack for those of you who use PC edition, it's on the website JCTV16. All that's really been added is that brick is now a solid color like this. So yeah. So here's the seats for Delta Comfort Plus. You know, pretty comfortable. And also, though, I want to point out is we have the black little TV screen outlines to show it's a newer interior and all that. Here's a lavatory right there. There's another space and another lavatory right here. And then it's all economy over here. And we try to get a little detail by adding window shades, like right here. That's a window shade just covering up a window. But yeah. And also we added some detail right here for your seats, as you know, you can turn on your air or air conditioning. You have air for this passenger, the one in the middle, and the one on the right. So yeah. And as you can see, it's 232 seating for the 767. I mean, there's probably an airline that tried maybe 3-3, but I have no idea. So yeah. And then back here, there's the space, and then there is another lavatory. And then here's the rear galley. I'm not sure why this is so dark on this side, though. Oh, what? That is strange. Why is it so dark on this side? Now let's just place this here. Yeah, but here's the galley where the crew can make all your delicious meals and everything. And here's the rear exit. And all of that, which is pretty stellar. Ooh, that's a nice wing view right there. Come on, can the chunks load? Can the chunks load? Oh, wait a minute. Let's try this. Try it again. Can the chunks load? Can they get it? Can they get the winglet? You gonna get the... Oh. Oh, wait, never mind. I thought the chunks were gonna show the winglet. Too far. Rats. But anyways, oh, I forgot to point out on the winglet, there's actually a light right there for it, but yeah. Now that's mostly it for the 767 for Delta. Now we've made a lot of liveries, and I kind of want to point out now, not all the liveries are complete, but you know, a livery's a livery, so deal with it. But let's start the tour of the livery, shall we? So the first, well, where is it? Ah, here it is. So the first livery, as you can see right here, is the American Airlines livery from, you know, it's their metal aluminum colors. Now, I apologize that American is not written on there, and that the actual AA text on the tail's in there. You know, we got lazy and we didn't do it. And like I said, not all these liveries are complete, but, you know, yeah, that's what it is. So, as you see, the CF6 engines for American Airlines. I love the 76 with this bare metal color, though. It looks stellar. And we have the, if I get this to connect, there we go. We have the AA.com winglets for American Airlines on this side. And yeah, that registration is wrong. That's wrong. Also, to point out, you know, just love the sound of these engines. You know, there's a particular video of an American 76. Actually, no, hold that thought. I'll talk about that later, but you'll see in a moment. And also, the engines look pretty nice with this shade of color. Ooh. So, also, and I forgot to mention, wow, the 767 also has a cargo hold. I'm only going back to this aircraft. That's just easier to see. As you see right there, there's the cargo hold. So we can inside, and this is the cargo hold. Look at all of that space. So Keep Flying High ended up doing this design. It's really cool. See here you have your floor panels. This is where the door opens, and this is where you can put your cargo crates inside. So yeah. Yeah. But besides that, we can keep going down. Come on. Come on. This is you can get used to this, because you're gonna have to be going down the line quite a lot today. So the next livery right here is Delta and their Wavy Gravy livery. And this livery is made by Rowan. I believe this livery was in service in the late 90s, early 2000s. Could be wrong, but yeah. And we also don't have winglets on this aircraft because, you know, back when this aircraft was in service, it didn't have winglets, so yeah. But as you can see right there, excellent colors. You know, looking stylish, Delta. Great job. And they also have the little red outline on the engines, which is pretty cool. So you can go to the tail, which Rowan has done an outstanding job on. Oh, he also changed the registration on this too, which is nice. So here's the tail for Wavy Gravy. Looks outstanding. Great job, Rowan. So yeah, but as you see, you kind of get a little, I would get a little excited with all these liveries. We have the United Airlines Tulip livery, and I have no idea who made this livery, but it looks really cool, so kudos to whoever made that. And again, this doesn't have winglets because at the time of this livery, the 767s, not a lot had winglets, I'll just say. And a little fun fact about the United and their Tulip livery, they painted their pylons blue, which is what we did right here. Not really sure why, but you know they did. So we can go back to the tail and have that beautiful United tail. Look at that, looking stellar. So there's United. Oh, also the registration is different too. Nice. So we can keep going down the line. I'm going to be saying that a lot today. And we have Lufthansa. Because I honestly have forgotten that Lufthansa operated the 76, but the German Stig ended up making some liveries, and these look really good. So here's Lufthansa of Germany. And here's the engines, which have been colored properly as well. We can go to the tail. And also, the registration's different. Tail, which looks really good. So, Lufthansa. Looking great. Kind of wish these are still in service because these look really cool, but, you know, they're not. So, yeah. And behind Lufthansa, we have a KLM, it's not 777, 767. And this, again, looks pretty stellar. This is their kind of older livery. They have a little gray on the engine right there with the text of KLM, but it still looks great right there. Again, no winglets for the time being. And as you can see from the tail, if I can get over there, there we go. KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines. That is a really good looking KLM. Again, kudos to the German Stig for making that. Looks really great. And also, these flags. Ooh, that looks really good. Really good. So, yeah. Next one, we have a Hawaiian 767. Unfortunately, with no winglets. I thought Doohill had originally put winglets on this, but he didn't want them. So, yeah. Like I just said, Doohill made this livery. Outstanding job. I have no idea how he did it because I could not make a Hawaiian livery this good. But, as you can see right there, Hawaiian. Ooh. And we can go to the tail, and as you can see, it's different. Oh, he also added some detail to the American flag. And here's the Hawaiian tail. Again, outstanding job from Doohill, because I cannot make this. And he also didn't put the horizontal stabilizers because he was painting the livery. Now, I have no idea what happened with this plane. It looked like it just got like cut in half, but yeah. Oh, now I figured it out. Because I did a giant cut and paste for this, but Dutch DJ didn't line this up straight the first time, so that's why it looks messed up. Blame Dutch. Great job. But next we have Air New Zealand by Dutch DJ. Great livery. Looks stellar. Unfortunately, Air New Zealand recently retired all of their 767s. You know, they were real workhorse aircraft for their fleet. But here's the winglets with the Air New Zealand text, and that looks really good. So, again, kudos Dutch. That looks really nice. And we have the tail over here with the New Zealand. I don't know what you would call that, but it looks nice. Even more liveries to go. One of my more favorite liveries, made by Doohill and Dutch and a few others, the American Airlines livery. And I believe this is 2014 or 2013 plus, yeah. So, this is when I mentioned that there's a particular video with an American 767 taking off from this view, and the engine sound is just phenomenal. It's just outstanding. But as you can see, you know, winglets, they're all white. Yeah, not all white. They're all silver. Even though some new livery... Yeah, I cannot speak to that. Let me retry this. The winglets are all gray, even though a good majority of the new liveried 767s for Americans still have the old AmericanAirlines.com text, or AA.com. So, yeah. We also have winglets right there. So, excellent text right there, looking stellar. We also have the tail by Dutch DJ, looks really good. I mean, just look at that. Come on, can it load? Can it load? There we go. And that looks nice as well. Another livery we have today is Caribbean, made by Dewhill once again. Because Dewhill just makes some outstanding liveries. I could not make this. So, Caribbean Airlines with winglets, which are all gray, but who cares. And the bird on the tail, which looks just great. Like, great job, Dewhill. Excellent looking livery there. Do we have any more liveries? I believe we do, yeah. Yeah, and here's a fan favorite of... Here's a fan and personal favorite. We have United... Yeah, I said United, wow. We have a United Battleship Gray livery, which was, you know, which was in the late 80s, early 90s, which looks really stellar right there. So, I don't think it was in the late 80s. I could be wrong, but who knows. And then we have the tail right here. Again, I have no idea who made this livery, but it looks really good, so kudos whoever made this. I'm proud of you. And one of our, not one of our last, but one of the, well, another livery I'll just say, is we have the Star Alliance livery for United, and that United text looks great. I believe Dewhill made this livery, although I could be wrong. As you see, it says Star Alliance. With no winglets. Great. Star Alliance, and the tail for Star Alliance is done by Dewhill. Outstanding job. And one of our, now, here's some incomplete liveries that, you know, don't have a lot of text, but here's the LOT or Lot 767. Again, no winglets. And, you know, Dust DJ was working on it, but he didn't finish it, unfortunately, so that's all we have. Here's the British Airways 767. Now, before you guys point something out, yes, the British Airways 767s use RB211s. This is a CF6, what the heck. Sorry about that, we just haven't gotten around to making a good RB211 yet, but for the time being, Rowan made the livery in extra configuration for British, which looks really good. Ooh, look at that. And no winglets on this aircraft as well. But we can go to the tail and you can see the outstanding British Airways tail made by Rowan. Ooh, that looks pretty nice. And one of our last liveries, yeah, this was supposed to be Air Canada Rouge, but, you know, Dewhill never finished it, so, yeah, sorry about that. But anyway, oh, I just realized we forgot liveries like Qantas, wow. Comment down more liveries in case you want to see maybe a follow-up of this video where we do more liveries, because we could make it happen, but yeah. Anyway, if you guys have enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. Smack that like button for more Minecraft madness, and if you like what you see, subscribe. Yes. Anyways, so yeah, a 767-400 video, that's coming soon, as well as a 200, and be prepared for a lot more videos, as I have a lot more time on my hands now. But anyway, once again, I'm Jordan, and thanks for watching.